Coach Herb Sendek of the Santa Clara Broncos joins us here on Marching to Madness. The Broncos are currently 15-5 overall. They're 3-2 in what is a deep WCC. Coach Sendek has 525 career victories in Miami of Ohio, NC State, Arizona State, and Santa Clara. Coach, welcome.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate you.
Sure. Hey, you guys took a 92-81 win over what I think's an improved Pacific team last Saturday. Keyshawn Justice, 26 points. Carlos Stewart, 21. You shot 47.8% from the field.
Yeah, it was really a terrific team win for us. You're right. Pacific has improved and really playing their season best basketball as they've gotten healthy. You know, good health is always an important variable in this equation. But our team played a good basketball game, and we did so, without, a few of the players that are, integral to our team. And so it was a great WCC win, especially on the road. And, any win is good and hard to get.
Especially on the road, it seems.
Yeah, no question about it. Our league is deep. It's competitive. And just like any league around the country, you have to be ready each and every night. I know it's going to be labeled as coach speak, and so be it. But the fact of the matter is, when you're in the trenches, that's the truth. And so many talented players across the country, outstanding coaches across the board, and the game itself and all the variables involved just lend itself to a parity and a degree of unpredictability.
Sure. You have one of the top offenses in the nation. You average 75.2 points per game. It's in the top 1/3 of the teams. And you're able to find 61.6 field goal attempts per night. That one struck me. How have you built the attack to this kind of advantage where your offensive talent reacts so consistently?
Well, guys, by and large, want to play up-tempo basketball, and it's a fun style of play, and we really do like to play with great pace, play with good ball movement as well as player movement. So I think it's a fun style. It's something we enjoy, and it's been good for us.
Sure. Now, you also shoot 35% from three, which that's also in the top 1/3 in the nation as well.
Yeah, and obviously going back to the first year, 1987, that the three-point line came into existence, it would be an understatement to say it's changed the game, and it continues to evolve. As coaches get creative and find different ways to take advantage of the line.
Sure. Now, you've got a player, I think, in the middle, Brandon Podziemski. He's your leading scorer, and he was a key in what was a really close loss to Gonzaga. I watched the game. I thought you had chances there to win that game. His inside-outside attack makes him a really tough matchup.
Yeah, I think probably his most attractive quality, if you will, and that may not be the best way to say it because he has so many great attributes, is simply his competitive toughness, his spirit for the game. And, he's really helped our team with that as well. I think his grit has been contagious, but he really competes, Ken. And when you do that, you give yourself a chance, right?
You have a couple of other players. We mentioned Carlos and Keyshawn. They're part of that lethal three-ball attack. They're both up over 40%. Justice is a quality assist man, though. That makes that part of the attack even more aggressive and assertive when you've got a shooter who is also a huge threat to make a really good pass to one of his teammates.
Yeah, no question. Keyshawn's had a tremendous career for us this past week. I think he actually surpassed the great Steve Nash in three-point field goals made. But Keyshawn has just been a cornerstone in our program over the course of time. He's gotten better each step of the way. He's been extremely reliable. He plays both ends of the floor and has a great voice for our team as well.
You have a really good balance, I think, of returnees from last season, in the NIT, and then the newcomers. So how about that mix, and how is that allowed, for the building blocks to move forward?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we have some guys in our program who, we're familiar with our culture, our system, our style, and they've done a great job embracing the new guys, buddy coaching them, helping them feel at home and comfortable. And our new guys have bought in and added their own personalities and game to the mix. So each year, as you know, is unique to itself, and it's incumbent upon the team to not only come together but stay together. It's something that you have to work on every day. I think our guys just genuinely get along and enjoy each other's company. So that certainly goes a long way and helps.
Coach, discuss your culture of your program, and then how long does it take, like the average player, I guess, to adapt to a culture, or to adapt maybe to a different culture after he's been at another Division I school already, a transfer?
I think the adaptation process is individual. Some guys are able to adapt quickly and fit in almost seamlessly, especially if they come from a similar culture. Other guys, may, take a little bit longer, but culture is not static. You could have a great culture on Monday, but you better work on it on Tuesday, because by Wednesday, some of the threads could start to loosen. And so culture is never final. It's never like, okay, we got it, so we don't have to think about it anymore. It's a very organic concept, very organic, dynamic.
Coach, with the transfer portal the way it is and things, do you find, do you and your staff, I guess I should say, find yourselves having to, I don't want to say re-recruit, but just make sure everybody is still in line as a Bronco?
Well, hopefully our culture does that, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean, every player for the rest of the time, once a Bronco, will remain a Bronco in today's world. But we've been really fortunate to have an excellent retention. And once again, I think you go back to that buzzword, the word everybody loves to throw around, but is hard to define, and that's culture.
Yeah. Now, how quickly was this group able to fit in together and achieve roles? Especially, last season you had 21 wins, you were third in the WCC, you lost some key players, but the next group coming up, and then the new recruits or transfers.
Our group has had an edge of resiliency, Ken. You mentioned losing players from last year's team that was so successful. We lost Jalen Williams, who was a lottery pick.
Oh, yeah.
We lost Josip Brankic, who was a 1,000-point scorer, a 5-year starter, all conference power forward. And we lost PJ Pipes, another 1,000-point scorer. And on top of that, we lost Jordan Williams the last game of the season against Washington State with an ACL injury, and he hasn't been able to play this year. And then when we started this year, we lost one of our newcomers for the year. And so our team has done a great job of, pulling it all together, because we really have had to replace some outstanding players, not only through graduation and the NBA draft, but this season, through injury. And two of our guards are out for the season. And then a third guard was injured in October. And given the length of time he was out, he hadn't played in the game yet. He decided to take a red shirt. So given all that, and certainly we're not the only team that's undergone that kind of attrition. I think our guys have really shown a mark of a resiliency.
Mm-hmm. As you looked at the 3-point loss to St. Mary's and a 5-point loss to Gonzaga, what points are there that you kind of have fixed, or I don't want to say fixed, but that you reset? Or
It's not just after those two games, it's every
yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a constant mission to learn and to improve. We've won games, by very narrow margins, overtime, 1 point games that could have easily gone the other way. Um, and so, you get up the next day, you brush yourself off, and you see what there is to learn, and you move on to the next game.
You have two forwards, Parker Bryan and Jaden Bediako. They can change matchups and allow you guys to play, it feels like, with a different attack.
Yeah, both of those guys are having, career best years for us.
Mm-hmm.
Both guys are playing with a great deal of confidence, and they're different and they complement each other very well.
It may be as deep as I can remember the WCC. And people need to understand this is not about Gonzaga losing ground, it's about the middle of the conference moving forward. Is that how I guess you look at it, when you're scouting and looking at your opponents inside the league?
Oh, there's no question. Our league is continuing to ascend, clearly among the very best conferences in all of college basketball, multi-bid league, outstanding players, tremendous coaches. And so we have the utmost respect for every team in our league. And, sometimes, it brings out the best in you and sometimes the worst in you, but you definitely feel alive when you're going through the schedule. And I think it's a microcosm of college basketball. I don't know, like I said, there in almost any league, almost anybody could beat anybody on a given night. And that's just not a cliche. That's a reality. That's why, people check the scores with such curiosity. If everyone knew the outcome ahead of time, people wouldn't be on their phones checking these scores nonstop.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even have a phone.
Yeah, right.
In that
Comes in
case.
handy.
Sure, it does. Coach Herb Sendek, ladies and gentlemen, the Santa Clara Broncos in one of my favorite parts of the country out there in the Bay Area. Lots to do out there and a great place. It's kind of my mantra, the state of California.
Terrific. Well, come see us sometime, and it's great being with you, Ken.
Yeah, it's great having you on. Thanks a lot for your time today.
All right, take care now. Happy New Year.